You don't feel lost because you don't know what to do. You feel lost because you keep asking the world for permission to become someone. You scroll for direction. You listen for motivation. You wait for clarity like it's going to fall into your lap one clean morning. But the truth is, most men don't find a path. They are forced into one by pain, by time, by humiliation, by the quiet fear of staying the same. I'm going to give you Miyamoto Musashi's brutal advice for men who feel lost. And no, it's not comfort. It's not be positive. It's not follow your passion. Musashi doesn't care about your mood. He cares about your mastery. Because in his world, if you stayed lost, you died. And before your mind tries to romanticize this samurai, swords, cool quotes, understand what you're really listening to? You're listening to a philosophy built under pressure. A way of life designed for a man who cannot afford confusion. In Japan, there's a word, wormal, omal, hi-ha. People translate it as strategy or martial method. But it's deeper than that. Hi-ha is how you live when excuses are too expensive. It's the discipline of seeing clearly and moving anyway. Now let me tell you why you're lost. You wake up and you feel behind, not just on work, on life. You see other men with direction. Some are building businesses, some have families, some have bodies that look like they belong to a different species. And you feel this pressure in your chest, like you missed a meeting with your own future. So what do? You escape into planning. You escape into entertainment. You escape into self-improvement content as if collecting information is the same as changing. But being lost is not an information problem. It's a commitment problem. Because a man who is lost is usually a man who refuses to choose a hardship. Let that sink in. You're not lost. You're undecided about what pain you're willing to endure. You want confidence without rejection, skill without boredom, status without humility, a strong body without discipline, peace without sacrifice. Musashi would call that childish, not as an insult, as a diagnosis. There's a moment in every man's life where he realizes nobody is coming. No mentor is going to knock on the door and hand you a mission. No perfect opportunity is going to appear and match your exact personality type. No one is going to rescue you from the consequences of your own delays. That moment is terrifying, and it's also the beginning of adulthood. Now, I want to bring Yuki into this. Yuki is not weak. He's just like most men today, quietly overwhelmed, privately ashamed, tired of pretending he has it together. Yuki used to be sharp. When he was younger, he had energy. He had ambition. He believed life would start soon. But now he's older, and he feels like he's watching his own life through a window. He keeps telling himself he needs a plan. He needs clarity. He needs to find himself. But what he really needs is a blade, not a literal blade, a rule, a discipline, a cut. Because Musashi's first brutal advice to a lost man is this: stop searching for yourself. Start forging yourself. Start forging yourself. Musashi didn't build identity by finding. He built it by training, by repetition, by confronting weakness until it stopped negotiating. You say you're lost because you don't know what career to pick, what city to live in, what purpose you have. Fine, but let me ask you something more honest. Can you wake up early, consistently? Can you train your body even when you don't feel like it? Can you focus for 1 hour without checking your phone? Can you keep a promise to yourself for 7 straight days? If you can't do these things, then purpose won't save you. You'll destroy it too. Because the real reason you feel lost is you don't trust yourself. You've broken too many agreements with your own mind. Musashi would tell you to stop expecting direction from a mind you haven't disciplined. A noisy mind cannot give clean orders. It will only give cravings, fears, and fantasies. So what did Musashi do instead? He trained fundamentals until his spirit became sharp. There's a brutal simplicity here. When you don't know what to do with your life, you master what you can control today: your body, your schedule, your attention, your speech, your environment. A lost man tries to solve the entire map. Musashi solves the next step with total seriousness. Now here's the second piece of brutal advice. Stop trying to feel ready. Become ready. Most men wait for confidence. Musashi would say confidence is a byproduct of competence, and competence is a byproduct of repetition. And repetition requires you to endure boredom without running away. This is where Yuki struggles, because boredom feels like emptiness, and emptiness feels like failure. So he fills it. Music, scrolling, porn, junk food, endless conversations that go nowhere. Anything to avoid the silence where he might hear the truth. Musashi would force him into that silence. He'd say, sit, look at your life, don't decorate it with stories. And that's when Yuki would realize something painful. He doesn't actually lack time. He lacks command. He gives his best hours to distractions and his leftover hours to dreams. Then he wonders why nothing changes. That's not being lost. That's being undisciplined. Think about that for a moment. Now the third piece of this one is the knife. Musashi would tell you, choose one path and kill the fantasy of the other paths. Your suffering comes from keeping doors open that you will never walk through. You want to be the businessman, the artist, the athlete, the traveler, the calm spiritual man, the social king all at once, while also staying comfortable. That's not a life. That's a mental shopping mall. Musashi was not scattered. He was centered. Not because he had fewer desires, but because he refused to serve all of them. So here's what you're going to do if you feel lost. You're going to choose one craft, one domain, one direction for the next 90 days. Not forever, 90 days. And you're going to become painfully consistent. Because a direction isn't found through thinking, it's carved through action. You walk long enough and the path appears behind you. Yuki hears this and panics. 90 days feels like prison. It feels like restriction. It feels like he'll miss out. Musashi would smile at that, because restriction is exactly what creates power. A river becomes strong because it has banks. Without banks, it's a swamp. Your life is a swamp right now. Too many options, too much stimulation, too little commitment. And this is where Musashi's he-ho becomes practical. Strategy is not just in battle. Strategy is in daily life. You cut what makes you weak. You feed what makes you sharp. Now let's go deeper. Let's talk about what makes you feel lost on the inside. You feel lost when you don't have a standard. A standard is a line you don't have a standard. A rule you don't negotiate. A code. Most men don't have a code. They have moods. When they feel good, they act disciplined. When they feel bad, they collapse. That's not character, that's weather. Musashi's brutal advice is, stop being weather. Become climate. Climate doesn't change every hour. Climate is the long pattern, the identity, the rule. So you need a code that is small enough to follow and strict enough to shape you. Here's a code you can start tonight. I don't lie to myself. I don't numb myself. I do the hardest necessary thing first. I train my body daily. I respect time like it's blood. If that sounds intense, good. You've been living too softly. Now, I want to give you a story image you can hold in your mind. Imagine Musashi walking alone. Not because he was antisocial, because he was committed. He didn't need constant comfort. He didn't need entertainment. He didn't need approval. He carried his practice with him. Now imagine you. If you're alone for 10 minutes, you reach for your phone. If you're stressed, you reach for escape. If you're uncertain, you reach for other people's opinions. That dependence is why you're lost. You can't hear your own direction over the noise you keep feeding. So Musashi's next brutal instruction is, reduce noise until truth becomes audible. That means you must remove things, not add. You don't need a new planner. You need fewer apps. You don't need another motivational video. You need fewer dopamine spikes. You don't need a better morning routine. You need an earlier bedtime and a stronger no. And here's something shocking, but you need to hear it. A lot of your lost feeling is withdrawal. Your brain is overstimulated, so normal life feels empty. When normal life feels empty, you think you need a new purpose. But what you actually need is to detox your attention. So start with this. For 7 days, no phone for the first hour after waking. That one rule will terrify you, which is exactly why it matters. Now, application: how you turn Musashi's brutality into a system. Every day, you will do 3 things, no matter what your purpose is, because these are the pillars that create a man who can carry purpose. First, physical training. Minimum 20 minutes. Not for aesthetics, for spirit. A weak body creates a weak mind. You know this already. Stop negotiating. Second, one block of deep work, minimum 60 minutes. No multitasking, no switching. One skill, one craft, one output. If you can't do 60 minutes, do 30, but do it clean. Third, one act of discomfort chosen on purpose. Cold shower, long walk without music, hard conversation, saying no to sugar, cleaning your space, reading when you want to scroll. You choose discomfort daily, so life stops choosing it for you. This is warrior conditioning for a modern world. Now, mistakes, because lost men sabotage themselves in predictable ways. Mistake 1. They try to rebuild their life in 1 week. They go extreme, then collapse, then hate themselves. Musashi doesn't respect intensity. He respects consistency. Mistake 2. They confuse consumption with progress. You watch, you save, you plan, you talk, but you don't produce. A man becomes real when he produces. Mistake 3. They keep one poison as a reward. Porn, alcohol, endless gaming, late-night scrolling. Then they wonder why discipline won't stick. Your reward system is training you. Every night, you numb yourself. You teach your brain that escape is the finish line. Musashi would call that self-defeat. Mistake 4. They surround themselves with softness. Friends who laugh at discipline. Environments that encourage laziness. If your surroundings celebrate weakness, your growth will feel like betrayal. That's why you must decide whose approval matters. Now the final challenge. Specific, clean, non-negotiable. For the next 7 days, you will live like this. Wake up and do not touch your phone for 1 hour. Train your body for 20 minutes. Do 60 minutes of deep work on one skill. End the day by writing 1 sentence. Today I kept my word by doing... That's it. You don't need inspiration. You need evidence. Evidence that you can trust yourself again. Because when you trust yourself, you stop feeling lost. Not because everything is solved, but because you have a compass. And that compass is simple. Your word is law. So here's your action step right now. Before you scroll, before you forget, before your mind starts negotiating. Pick your 1 skill for the next 90 days. Write it down. Then set a time tomorrow for your first 60-minute deep work block. Put it in your calendar. Treat it like an appointment with the man you keep abandoning. And tell me in the comments what's making you feel lost the most right now. Lack of direction, lack of discipline, or fear of choosing the wrong path.